Welcome to the Mandarin, Vivek Kundra. Vivek's our guest today, and he's the former CIO for the Obama administration and now Vice President for Salesforce. Welcome, and we want to talk today about digital transformation. Vivek, for our Australian audience, could you just describe your experience with digital transformation in government?
Sure. First of all, Tom, thank you very much for having me here today. When I reflect on my journey and the focus on digital transformation, it actually begins at the local government level, where I started my career in public service, then went on to work at state government and eventually at the federal level for the president. And one of the biggest areas that we focused on throughout federal, state, and local government was really putting the citizen at the heart of government operations. And if you think about the journey when it comes to technology in the public sector, in the 1960s, the past was very much about systems of record. So there's massive amount of investment that went into building databases and ERP systems and supply chain systems. And then over the last decade, we moved into an era which was very much about systems of engagement, where you were able to engage, whether it's through Facebook or through Twitter or LinkedIn. And now we've entered an era of systems of intelligence. And so throughout that whole journey, I spent a lot of time making sure that whichever era we were in, that we were engineering systems very much focused around the citizen. How do you make sure that their interaction with government is frictionless? Most people, when they think of government today, they look at it and they say, you have to wait in line, hold on the phone, or submit a 3-part paper form. Yet, in their everyday consumer life, there's an app for that. And it's this gap in information technology in today's world that we're seeing that's creating a bigger drive towards digital transformation across every level of government.
Right. So the engagement piece obviously impacting across the economy is a piece of digital disruption. What other disruptions would you see digital causing in government besides that engagement piece? Are there aspects to that?
Well, I think the biggest one today is this notion of a systems of intelligence. And what I mean by that is the average Australian today can pick up their smartphone. They can tap or swipe to literally have a car show up and pick them up. They can tap or swipe and order something that will appear on their doorsteps the same day or the next day. They can tap or swipe and book a flight anywhere in the world. Yet, when you're looking at government, that isn't happening today. So what's happening in some parts of government, like in New South Wales, is they're fundamentally redefining customer service and what that experience really looks like. So you can actually anticipate the needs of your citizens. In the same way, when you go on Amazon and you buy a product, there are other products that are recommended. Or when you're watching a movie on Netflix and you like the category of thrillers, there are other thrillers that are recommended to you. That is where the government is headed now, and we're seeing this in terms of the leadership in New South Wales, where they're using technology to create end-to-end digital processes, but more important than that, actually recognizing that the best experience in a government office is the one that you don't have to set foot in the government office.
Right, so this is the Service New South Wales model we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, where they've taken, I think, perhaps 400 government services, brought them all together in one unified system, and obviously there's a back end that supports that whole process.
And they actually went beyond technology, right? So the other thing they did is that they went in and they said, well, when somebody has to walk in for one reason or another into the government office, how do you make sure that experience is the most excellent experience? So one of the things they did is they went out and they recruited people who were focused solely on customer service. So whether it's receptionists, bank tellers, and they brought them in to make sure they're providing world-class service to anybody that walks into a government office. And that is extremely powerful, and that's one of the reasons they have a 99% customer satisfaction rating.
Right. So it's a good example of digital transformation leading to a much bigger change in the exercise. When you reflect on your own experience with digital transformation in government, you've had this really unique experience of 3 tiers of government, watching it. For a country like Australia, would you have any sort of observations that we could pick up or learn from? I think the UK and US are arguably a little bit more advanced than we are in digital transformation in government. Are there lessons we can learn from that?
Well, I think that there are lessons that need to be shared around the world, right? Because I don't think there's one clear leader, because you have pockets of excellence around the world. So when you look at the UK, for example, and the focus on digital services, by actually engineering every experience and user interface with the citizen in mind, that's extremely powerful. When you look at even in Japan, what's happening as far as investments are considered around identity management and creating platforms that will enable you to easily interact with your government, or you look at the US context, where a lot of work is happening right now as a result of 18F around making sure that the same innovations that people are used to from Silicon Valley are being applied in the context of government services, or whether you look at the amazing leadership that Minister Turnbull is applying to actually the Digital Transformation Office and reimagining the future. There are some amazing things that are happening that just need to be scaled. And I think for too long what's happened is government leaders in capitals around the world have focused purely on systems of records. It was easy, it was comfortable, and they're still stuck in the 1960s era of the technology model, but their customers have leapfrogged, the citizens have leapfrogged.
Right.
And what needs to happen now with any of these initiatives is actually to meet your citizens where they are.